Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Dinks with Kinks Live. I'm your host, John, and before we get started tonight, I'm going to remind everybody that we are in fact on that social media. So follow us at Dinks with Kinks on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. With me tonight are two of my favorite people. They're amazing, they're kind-hearted, they're sweet, and I love them with all my heart and soul. And that would be Rebecca and Shep. How are y'all doing?
Oh, we got a twofer. He didn't do us individually. We got done at the same time.
I guess
we got done at the same time.
I guess he's been working out. He handles both at the same time.
Yeah, I'm trying to be a kinder, sweeter soul this episode.
Sweet But good evening.
I know. I was like, who the fuck are you?
I mean, you already started off with lies.
Hey,
he said we're
what
live.
kind of dick do you think I am? Do you think I'm some kind of sadist?
No.
Oh, that was a long one. But you know what? I'll take it. I'll allow it. Okay. Yeah.
It was a long one, but she will take it, folks.
I will.
I am a little bit.
Because I'm a masochist. Is what I do. I enjoy the pain.
Yeah, that sounds like something we did last week. That sounds like part one of our two-part special.
I know.
What if we did a 3-part?
It's like they're twinsies, but not.
I'm always up for anything. You know me.
I mean, I'm down for 3 ways. No, I think we can cover this in the 2-parters. Okay, that's it. We're laying it out there. Tonight we were talking about sadism, the sadist of the world, and what it is. And the reason we decided to break it up into 2 pieces because they are 2 very different subjects. It'd be unfair to talk about them together because there's so much about one that doesn't really apply to the other and vice versa. That said, have you guys ever dealt with a true sadist?
Yes.
Always.
Yes.
Are either one of you sadist?
No. I'm a masochist. Definitely.
Yeah. I think we just covered that in like episode 1.
I think so too.
Part 1. But yeah, so I wanted to get in there. Shep, you don't consider yourself a sadist?
Part-time.
I think you might change your tone after we talk about tonight because I've been doing a lot of research about this week and last week. And, you know, when you think of the word sadist, there's a lot of negative connotations.
Mm-hmm. There are.
A sadist is somebody who derives sexual pleasure from the pain and suffering of others. Typically, pain and suffering they cause. So, when you really boil down to it, it doesn't sound that appealing unless you're a masochist. That said, I do want to dispel some misconceptions and absolutely distinguish between an actual sadist and a dickhole. And I don't mean that little fun area where the goo comes out.
I was like, a dickhole is like right there at the end of your penis, right there.
Yeah, not that kind of dickhole, but like an actual dickhole, like a jerkwad, a fuckface. Not a fuckface. Fuckface is funny. A shitbag.
Oh.
Because a lot of times people consider like, oh, I'm a sadist. That translates to, oh, I am an asshole. Who derives, pleasure from seeing other people suffer. We're not talking about that so much tonight. I mean, we will get into like the finer points of what they are, but what do you guys know about sadism?
Sorry, I had to unmute. I know that sadism, when the people, they get that same type of release from the couple that I do know, and they talked about it. They get like this release when they are inflicting, like especially impact play, when they are participating in impact play. They like the sounds and they just get some. It hits different. It hits different for them.
It's different for them. What about you, Shep? Since you are not a sadist, what do you know of them?
Aren't those the people that often wear the hoods and they draw the satanic symbol? No, that's different people.
That's satyrs. We're thinking of satyrs.
Okay. Oh my god.
Different coven. Wrong episode. We already covered them.
Satyrs, aren't those the hairy
Wrong
guys?
podcast.
No,
Anyways.
right podcast, just wrong subject.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, cool.
But, I mean, in the most generalist terms, the sadists are the ones that just really find that pleasure, the enjoyment, or the satisfaction in the giving the pain, discomfort, humiliations, and all the other fun little, what they would generalize as negative effects to other people's.
Absolutely, yeah.
Negative,
I mean, that's...
pain is not
Yeah.
necessarily negative, but generalized.
And like I said, as we talked with masochism, it's not all about physical pain. Degradation, humiliation, every type of emotional and physical. So let's kind of get into what creates a sadist, and let's talk about true sadists. Let's not talk about people who call themselves sadists, and we'll be making that clarification many times tonight. Typically, sadists are they're not mean people. They are usually nicer people.
Some of the kindest people I know are sadists.
And so, where we talked about with masochism, derived from endorphin development in the human mind, like it's a very chemical-based kink. As far as brain chemistry goes, sadism is more of a trauma-based kink. Typically, a lot of times, and like I said, I'm talking broad strokes. This is not the facts for everybody, and I know there are a lot of sadists out there. Don't come at me because I'm telling you one avenue I went down. We'll talk about several. But a lot of them suffered trauma as children, typically abuse, and whereas they reflect attention to punishment, they are typically the people who kind of enjoy getting in trouble. They're the brats of the dom world, as it were. Now, this will make sense in the very broad strokes. Hold on. We're getting to
I was like, I thought we were talking sadism, not masochism.
Nope. Hold on.
Okay. All right.
But it's the opposite end of that. It's the kid who likes to be the reason trouble is made. They're doling up punishments. They equate punishment with pleasure. And that's why typically they're nicer people. They don't ever act out because they were traumatized as children. So they kind of elicit this very primal enjoyment of watching people get busted, watching people get in trouble. They're the people who are on the TikToks, like, watching cheaters get busted. They love this kind of shit. Like, people getting their comeuppance, they love it. They get off on it. I know, because
literally,
I absolutely love watching people get busted. I love people getting their comeuppance. Not necessarily sexually, but just in general. They also, but they don't necessarily denote it to negative impact. Like, they don't treat getting your comeuppance as a bad thing. They're like, it's a part of life, it's a part of facts. That's why they kind of like doling it out to people. Because they can spatiate between what is cruel and what is fun.
Right. Is it like equality? Like evening the playing field? Like bringing justice almost? Is that it?
No,
I don't know.
These are the people who like really felt for that villain at the end of the movie.
Oh,
not because
is that not a thing?
No, hold on. Not because they truly believed in the character. It's because they're like, man, that looked like fun. I want to be a villain.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. They're like, you watch Peter Pan, you're like, man, I'd have loved being Captain Hook. Had a hook hand.
Gotcha.
Got to yell at Smee a lot. Get to chase around a little boy in tights. And,
just wanted to be
let's not do that. I am a hooker. But yeah, they're the people who connect to the villain for fun, not through emotional connection. They don't watch the movie The Joker and go, I'm that guy. They watch the movie Batman, Tim Burton's Batman, watch Jack Nicholson's Joker and be like, I'm that guy. I am
they
cartoony,
like mayhem.
I am mayhem. They're not out they're not out to make a emotional statement. They're out to cause chaos and fun and they derive sexual pleasure from that. It's a lot of fun. Now, that being said, again, it's not all physical pain. And with any type of sadism, usually if they're a proper sadist, they show restraint. They're very conscious of what they're doing. They lay down lines. They are big fans of disciplinary action, like discipline style sub-dom relationships. Because that's usually where you get the quote-unquote punishments, which may or may not be fun.
I don't know. It depends on your point of view.
Well, I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, if you're with the right masochist, it's always punishment.
Masochist?
Yeah, and they... What did I say?
Masochist.
Is that a different thing?
That's his new title, a masochist, because he's always messing up the words. So he's going to be a masochist.
I'm a masochist. Masochist. Okay, listen. Masochist. We all know I can't do words. People don't pay...
All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Exhibitionism.
Masochist. Shit. New podcast. Start over. We're going to be a grammar podcast. I'm out. I'm just going to produce.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead. Sadism. If you're with the right masochist, it could be a lot of fun. Continue.
People don't listen to me to say words right. They listen to me to give the hard facts, the boring stuff, get all the meat out.
Do you give them the hard facts? Do you give them the hard facts, Sean?
Give them the meat.
Hard. Really hard. Okay.
But a lot of sadists get off most heavenly when their partner either feigns 100% like fear to them, like they feed on fear, like masochists feed on fear, like that endorphin rush. They watch you, and then they get to be the villain. They get to be the bad guy, and it's playing cops and robbers in the bedroom. It's 100% that, except that's bad cop, always bad cop. He's Mike Chiklis from The Shield. He's coming in there. He's gonna do shit that's gonna get him barred. They're gonna take his badge, and he don't give a shit. He's ready for it.
Okay, got it.
So there is usually a high level of role play involved in sadism. Just because no one wants an actual bloody, screaming victim. But if you're playing the part, it's really hot. I mean, okay, they do, but let's go in the terms we're talking about people who are not monsters.
Oh, okay, got it. Cool.
Yeah. And I just realized I have to change headphones because my headphones are dying because I forgot to charge them. So here we go.
Oh, okay. Yay! Well, I don't know. The couple of sadists, like genuine sadists, that I do know, they're very mischievous. I think that it's not even so, like, I think that, like we said, the comparison between the assholes, the ones that are just dickholes, and then the ones that are actual sadists, like it's the difference between I just want to see someone hurt, and then a true sadist is like, yeah, I like inflicting pain, but it's in a very mischievous type of way. And I think that he, John, you said it correctly when he says, like, you see the Jack Nicholson Joker, and it's like you want to cause that mayhem and that murder, and you don't give a shit, but you're not doing it in that, I want to set the world on fire type of way.
No,
so
you are wanting to play the villain,
right?
And the best way possible.
Yes.
And that's pretty much it. I mean, as far as the reasons behind it, like you grew up, and either you constrict. You grew up watching serials where, like, the villain was always thwarted, but he was fun. He wasn't dark. He wasn't evil. I mean, he may be evil, but he's like, you're not crying. He shouldn't seek mental help. It's just a fun villain. Or, you grew up in a abusive household, and you're equating and attaching positive to negative. A lot of times when sadists growing up, they deal with very abusive situations that they have to heal from. And part of their healing is being able to inflict that kind of, situation out in a positive manner, almost kind of rewriting bad memory.
Two things. I grew up hearing negative reinforcement is still reinforcement. So that's it's sort of that way. It's like that's what I can, because I'm not a sadist, so I'm trying to just connect the dots. But I feel like that's sort of one avenue. And then the other is like when you grow up in that abusive situation, whereas for me, I enjoy the pain, and I try to turn that pain into pleasure. That I feel like the sadist is just taking that power back. They were in a different type of abusive situation where maybe they felt powerless, and that they wanted to just take that power back and empower themselves. And it's not necessarily like bullying, but so much as I felt powerless at one point in my life, so now I am in control of somebody else. I'm in control of this type of behavior. And I feel like that can be very healing, honestly. I think just like being a masochist and that impact play and all that, it can be healing. And yeah.
Absolutely. And it's a healthy way of getting reequating those things, because like I said, the difference between like a sadist and a complete dickhole is a sadist does it for the pleasure of himself and others, or a dickhole is just a fucking dickhole and you just want to like push him in front of a train. Shep, you've been strangely quiet. What are your takes on sadism as a whole, or the cause and effect of sadism? Like, what do you think really drives sadism?
Well, I've been quiet because you guys have been so good at covering all the aspects. I can just sit back and watch the fun ride.
Yeah, you gotta earn that paycheck, buddy. 3 people.
It's a threesome. It's only good if we all participate, Shep.
I know, but you said paycheck? What
Get out of the cuck chair and into the game.
I mean, I know I'm pretty to watch, but come on, I want to hear it.
I mean, me too. No. Anyways. With sadism, I mean, I covered so many facets of it, and in the end, yeah, the sadist is I can see them as being that very, very controlled person. Because, you have a very specific trigger sometimes as far as your enjoyments. Some people can be well-rounded, as in they like to experience it with the gambit of mental and physical, but I believe in the end, most sadists and such, it is going to be very specific. So the pleasure will come from the very physical reactions, physical pain, provision, stuff like that, or the people that do focus more on or get pleasure from. And these guys, it's harder for them because that's the humiliation part, which has the more gray area of hard to accept it, because doing the physical pain is a lot easier because you have impact play and all those types, but I feel like the mental ones, they do have more of the struggle in life too, because again, it's hard to find the people that are into the humiliation play. It's hard a topic to bring up and everything else.
Yeah, that's why communication is very, very important. Yeah. And the reason I wanted to get your input, because there's a third type of sadist.
Ooh.
And this one applies very much to someone in our podcast, but they are the enablers.
Oh, I wonder who that could be.
Yeah. They're the ones that don't so much derive the pleasure from the pain, but derive the pleasure from enabling, and they just happen to be really good at inflicting pain. Something that I have witnessed Shep do on multiple occasions through use of floggers and other devices. But when you strike him, he doesn't really. At it.
I just do the thing.
Shut up.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. But yeah, they're the what we call the enabling sadist. They're the ones who really get great pleasure from punishments, playing with masochism. In fact, they will seek out masochists. I said that right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. They will seek them out
Store down.
because they can enable them. They can be the sadist they need to be, and so thus makes them a sadist. Just because they're playing that part. I mean, if you define what a sadist is somebody who derives causing people pain. Well, that pretty much defines anybody who's an enabler who enjoys flogging, any type of that manner.
Or a dentist.
Or dentist. I believe all dentists are sadists.
So you can be a daddy dom or a mommy dom and still be a sadist. So I think that in popular like culture or just in general pop, they think of sadist as this guy who is just maniacal and evil and just it's all pain driven. But in reality, you can be that nurturer and that caretaker, and all you want to do is give that person what they want, and what they want is to get their butt spanked. So yeah. I mean,
in fact, typically most sadists, and I'm saying typically, I am not going on a limb and saying all of them or that is a majority. Typically the ones I have found are in fact enabling sadists. They very much enjoy inflicting pain because they can do it with restraint and are very good at it, thus creating the best pleasure. Because usually masochism, they know what their shit. They know their shit, and they can take so much. And if you're not capable of giving that, you're not a very good sadist. Enablers are great at that because they're very in tune. They very much care. The best way to cause the greatest amount of pain is caring.
Yeah.
Because then you know how far you can push a limit. You know where all the safe avenues and nooks and crannies are.
Right. And I think that they are also those enabling sadists and are very nurturing because they pay attention to your body movements. They pay attention to how you sound. They know the difference between a yelp that is a good yelp versus a yelp that is something that hurts and something that not hurt in a good way. And I think it's important to have that and understand that a lot of the sadists that are good and genuine sadists, they pay attention to the person that they're with. And so I know as somebody, I honestly, as somebody who is a masochist, and I do enjoy and derive pleasure from pain, a lot of times, and I said this last episode, is I like pain, and we were talking about going back to trauma. I like pain to deal with some of the emotional pain. I use my pain and my outlet as receiving that sting of whatever, and it's usually impact play, but I like it rough. I mean, so and at the same time, I also need to make sure that I'm with somebody who is going to be very aware that I am not doing it because I like to get the crap beat out of me. They understand that I am participating in this type of play for not only a sexual manner, but for also a mental and emotional one too. And that's why it's super important to make sure that you have the right type of fit for the right type of sadist with the right type of masochist. Because some masochists just want that dom that is just all in to the degradation and that's great. And I, you guys should find each other, but I don't think it'd be a good fit for me, for somebody who's really into hardcore degradation and hardcore impact, because I'm not looking, my type of masochism doesn't fit that type of sadism. And it's really important because it's a spectrum. So Shep, do you have anything?
All the spectrums these days. Well,
all the spectrums. It's a sliding scale.
I mean, hearing enablers as a third type, it kind of resonates with me, but I'm still think that I would want to gear them more towards a sadist add-on. I mean, yes.
A sadist add-on.
Yeah,
it's like a bonus. Are we paying an extra 99 cents? Like, is that what we're doing?
It's like because the enablers, from my perspective, I guess, the enablers themselves, whether it is sadism or masochism, I'm speaking from just personal perspective right now, but I tend to kind of help enable both the facets, whether it is to help the sadist learn more tools of the trade or experience more different techniques to add to their abilities, or the masochist, again, to help them experience new forms of that particular facet, whether it's impact play, the blade play, the wax play, even violet wands, whatever your particular tools. But I guess generally speaking, yes, you can have sadist enablers. So I guess for me, though, I would still say I'm more of a hybrid, because I'm enabling of all the aspects. I want to help people experience it no matter whoever they are.
Well, like I said, I wasn't saying that a sadist is a sadist all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's literally going to the extreme of... Yeah, sadism doesn't have to be something that you are every moment of every day, doing everything you can. You have sadist tendencies because of your enabling skills, because you can be. Most enabling sadists are, they're whatever they can be at the moment. So
whatever we need to be.
What you're saying is So I stepped away for a hot second. Did we talk about safety?
No.
We did not. We were waiting on you.
Did somebody sound the safety alarm?
No.
The safety bell?
We can't safety without you.
All right, roll that safety clip. No, I'm just kidding. Here we go. Safety. Now, this is where we're really going to get into it. We didn't cover this so much on part 1 because I knew we were going to do a large chunk here. Safety is paramount. Anytime you're causing anybody any type of physical or emotional damage, even if it's for the reasons... Emotional damage.
Say it right.
I did. I said it right. Anytime you're causing that type of damage, you can, in fact, cause damage. It doesn't matter how much pleasure is derived for at the moment. There can be long-term effects to both physical and emotional. Yeah. That's why aftercare is so very important. And we did an entire episode on aftercare, and I highly suggest, if you are a sadist, go back and listen to that episode.
Please.
And not so much for your sake, but you will have more fulfilling fun, because if you do aftercare properly, I'm telling you what, you will get more fun in the future. This is one of those things where you're building a house with your partner, if you're doing it, and the foundation is as solid as you want it to be. So if you can build it really high and be the worst sadist the best sadist you've ever been in your entire life. But if you don't build that good foundation of aftercare and trust, it's going to collapse. It's going to hit that point where you're no longer to be able to have that relationship because they don't feel safe, they don't feel comfort.
You're going to hammer in that foundation. Ooh.
Hammer it in that foundation. Break out the warm fluffy blankets, positive reaffirmations, and gummy bears. Affirmations.
Okay. It's highly important for aftercare on a masochist side, and I'm talking to my sadists right now, because what is happening is after that pleasure, after that pain, after whatever it is that you've done in that play, there is going to be, and we've talked about this in our sub drop and our drop, there is going to be a drop, and depending on that person's mental and emotional state, they are going to be, regardless of what play you're going to, they are going to need to feel secure. And that is where the aftercare comes in. And that is where all of that comes in, which is why, that's, John said, please go back and listen to the aftercare episode, because they enjoyed what just happened, but they also need to know that they are safe. And that's going to be very important after any type of, physical or emotional pain that you inflict, because that person did enjoy it at the time, but now they are going to be feeling something else, and they need you to be that person to provide that safety for them.
Absolutely. And that's just the emotional stuff. Let's talk about the physical stuff. Yes, anytime physical pain you inflict to somebody can cause permanent damage to the skin, to internal organs. We talked about an impact play. Know where you're hitting, know what you're doing, practice safety measures all the way through. If you're causing pain, your body's response to pain, even though your partner may be loving it, it's pleasurable, your body's still sending pain for a reason. There's still damage being done, so you want to be very mindful of the damage you are doing and making sure any open wounds get disinfected. Any areas that got flogged, make sure they are properly cared for afterwards. Make sure you are flogging in the right area if you're causing physical pain. If you're doing impact play, don't be punching organs. Nobody likes it. They may really like it, but you shouldn't be doing it because you're going to damage organs. Organs aren't masochists. People are. Organs are not. They're like, no, I don't need none. I don't need any of this.
Explore techniques, explore toys, explore processes and methodologies. Don't explore safety. Make sure you do it right the first time.
Yes.
And we have covered both impact play, knife play. We've covered all these things to talk about more detailed ways to be safe. But yes, focus on aftercare, focus on the safety, make sure you keep your masochist alive so that way you can keep playing and keep doing fun things.
Please.
No one wants a unless you're a homicidal maniac, no one gets a boner for murder.
The price of bearing materials is way high in this inflation day, so keep your masochist alive.
Yeah, let's pump it up there.
I mean, please, okay? Yeah.
That said, and here he goes. Here's for our masochist. Recognize the difference between a sadist and an asshat. Sadist, yeah, they will cause pain. They will cause humiliation, degradation, all the fun things. But they will do it with consent. They care about your consent. The minute your sadist says consent is not a thing, he's not a sadist. He's a fucktard. Get far away from him. Run. Flee. Be like, you're no sadist, you're just a jerk ass.
This is where safe words matter. This is where safe signals matter. If they do not respect your safe word, if they do not respect your, red, yellow, whatever it is that you've established, if they don't respect that, or even, like kumquat, pineapple, whatever it is, whatever fruit salad you want, that's where you can. That's where you can tell. Like John's number one question is always, how do you feel about safe words? That's his always, and that's how you can tell if somebody is a sadist that just is an asshole, because he's like, oh, you don't do a safe word with me. That red flags,
flag.
run, red flags.
Rondero is our number one fruit salad. I mean, what? Yes.
Oh,
fruit
yeah.
Salad.
Fruit salad. Yummy. Yeah, safe words. That's the biggest red flag. If you're talking to somebody and you tell somebody you're a messenger, if they say they're a sadist, the next question should be, how do you feel about safe words? And if their answer is they're super important, you have to have them, consent is everything, run like hell. Major red flag, because
it's not.
There's a difference between kink. If it's not, if there's a difference between kink and abuse, and that is it right there, people. 100%.
Absolutely.
Kink is consent, communication, and just trust. Abuse is just abuse. That's what it is. I don't care if you derive sexual pleasure from abuse. abuse doesn't stop in the bedroom.
Nope.
It just spreads. And I'm not saying that sadists are bad by any stretch of the means. Every sadist I've ever known, every true sadist I've ever known, sweetest, nicest, kindest people you'll ever meet, and they truly respect and honor safety, communication, and trust. But I've met a lot of assholes too. I've met a lot of people who are just like, oh no, I'm a sadist, I'm rough, you can't handle me. And I'm like, well, yeah, okay, good. I can't handle you. Cool. Thumbs up. Bye.
It's very similar to the brat situation. There is a difference between a true brat who, you know, is just, you know, has the attitude and stuff, and then there's and then them being a bitch. And this is same type of equivalent. There's a difference between somebody who's a sadist and enjoys pain and, you know, getting a little rough, and an asshat. So I mean, it's very similar.
Yeah. And that's really what we did. I didn't want to harp on it. I didn't want to, you know, make a big deal that like sadists are not great, amazing things to have in your life. We just wanted to make sure everyone was aware. Everyone knows the difference. Mm-hmm. 50 Shades of Grey is a horrible representation of the BDSM lifestyle. He's abusive. That was abuse. 110%. Don't read it. Okay. It's garbage. Come at me.
Don't want. Yeah.
That said, I think we did great on our second 2-part episode.
We did.
Yeah.
We did.
So
it was a lot of fun.
Last week we didn't have the wheel, and I kind of missed it. I was really wanting to get back into that wheel lifestyle. I'm a real wheel man myself. So without further ado, spinning it. I'm the wheel man.
I always get that nice little tingly anticipation every time you spin it. I'm like, oh, what are we talking about next week?
Well, next week you will definitely have tingles and tickles and that oh so unsettling feeling as if something was gently crawling across your skin.
Oh no! Is it the bug episode? Are we doing the bug episode?
We're doing some bugs. And I do want to give a shout out to one of our listeners who added a new thing to our wheel. That said, if you listen to this podcast and you want to add something to our kink wheel, reach out to us. Give us a suggestion. We've added
foreign accents,
dialects, foreign accents, accents in general, and because it may not be foreign, a lot of people are into the southern dialect.
Foreign and domestic.
Y'all want to go to a party? You gonna eat
your? My.
Oh my. But we did add accents to the wheel, and something we hadn't thought about it. So if you have a kink in mind that you would like us to cover, we don't care how weird or crazy it is, reach out to us at Dinks with Kinks on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and send us a message. We'll add it to the wheel. Like, no questions asked. They said, hey, would this be okay to add to the wheel? And I'm like, oh yeah, no, it's there. It's done.
We love it. We love hearing from you.
We'll turn
absolutely.
You on.
And like I said, if you're a sadist or you're a masochist, reach out to us. Tell us how you came to be and tell us more about yourself. Because that's how we learn. That's how we learn as a community, is we communicate. And I love communicating and learning more. I only get to do so much research on each kink every week. So to be able to talk to somebody who has this particular fetish or any type of fetish is fascinating, and I will talk to you forever and ever and ever and ever and ever, and we'll be best friends, and we'll go eat biscuits and drink tea together, all the 9 yards. So okay, just me, cool, all right.
Yeah, I was like, what? We started talking about biscuits and tea. I was like, oh, okay.
Biscuits and tea.
No, I want to take my tea with my crumpets. Thank you very much.
I mean, I'll let you eat my biscuits. I don't like.
I mean,
how do you guys feel about curds and whey?
No way.
Cottage cheese?
Yeah.
I like cottage cheese.
I had a friend, it was Miss Something. Anyway, she used to love eating curds away. Till along came a spider. And good night, everybody. No, I'm your host, John Undera, and with me, as always, our favorite resident masochist, Miss Rebecca.
Good evening, everyone.
And the most enabling sadist you'll ever meet, Mr. Shep.
Add on. Till next time.
Good night, everybody.